The mRNA platform solves a problem. It is a gene therapy technology, and it allows you to deliver an mRNA message. mRNA means messenger RNA. Usually messenger RNA is produced in the nucleus of your cells. It moves to the cytoplasm, and then something called a ribosome translates it into protein. Protein does the work of the cell. It creates most of the structures of the cell. So what they innovated was a mechanism for getting RNA messages that they controlled, that they dictated, into cells so that your cells would produce a vaccine-like substance. So instead of a vaccine factory, they had a factory that produces a injectable that turns your cell into a factory.
Sounds like a terrible fucking idea.
It's a terrible fucking idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a brilliant idea at one level.
Sure.
Not ready to be injected into a human being.
Yeah.
And frankly, there is a fundamental flaw in it that cannot be solved with present technology. This is where the rubber meets the road. When you get sick with a virus, that virus hijacks your cells. Your cells are covered in protein that you yourself produce. By a complex process in utero, your immune system learns to ignore every protein that you yourself make. So the way immunity works is you learn to ignore your own proteins, and then anytime you see something that you don't recognize, you fight it as a pathogen. When a virus invades your cells, it hijacks them, and they produce more virus. As they do that, they produce proteins that your immune system does not recognize. So your immune system has a capacity to surveil all your cells, and when it encounters a cell that is putting out proteins that you yourself make, but also proteins it doesn't recognize, it regards those cells as virally infected, and it destroys them. Because no matter how important the cell in question is, there's no way to get the virus out of it. So killing it is a better plan than leaving it in place. Okay. So now these folks who made the mRNA vaccines inject them into people, and they tell us that the vaccine will stay in the deltoid. Well, no, it's not going to stay in the deltoid. You're injecting a fluid into a space that doesn't have room for it. It's going to leak out, and in many cases, the needle itself will just by accident have landed in a vein, and that injection will actually go in a concentrated way into the bloodstream. There is no targeting mechanism at all on the lipid nanoparticles, the fats that are used to transport these mRNA messages into the body. You may remember from chemistry that like dissolves like. So fats are what these mRNAs are coated in. Every cell in your body has a fat layer on the outside. Those fats join, the mRNA message goes into the cell starts producing this foreign protein. Your immune system sees that foreign protein. This is actually part of the design. Your immune system is supposed to see it. That's where the immunity is supposed to come from. But your immune system, in recognizing these foreign proteins on your own cells, will assume they are virally infected, and it will destroy them. If that happens in your deltoid, not a huge deal. If it happens in your liver, probably not a huge deal. If it happens in your heart, it's a huge deal, especially if you got a big concentrated glob of it. So a bunch of cells in your heart were producing these foreign proteins and got attacked by your immune system. Because your heart, A, is very well protected, so it doesn't usually suffer from insults. B, it has very low capacity for repair. In fact, mostly it doesn't repair, it scars. So if you got a concentrated dose of this in your heart, and a bunch of your heart cells got transfected, your immune system will kill those cells. That leaves you with a wound. It's a wound you don't even know you have because your heart is not innervated for you to be able to feel that damage, right? There's no benefit to it because such damage would be very unusual. So you've got a damaged heart. It's never going to be the same. At best, months will pass and it will scar over. But at worst, maybe you're on the soccer field and you're going to score the big goal and you're blood pressure goes up to a level it hasn't been in months, and that wound does arbitrary things. Maybe you collapse. Wow. So the punchline to this story is none of those things have anything to do with the content of the message that was encoded into these things. That just has to do with the platform. The platform has this defect built into it, and any disease you attempted to remedy with this mechanism would cause the same problem. So that's a dire failure. I would also point out there are many other flaws with this technology. The way the mRNA molecules were stabilized was irresponsible. It made for a process that cannot be terminated and is not naturally terminated by biological pathways. It also caused the ribosomes to incorrectly translate into protein so that you get arbitrary products that have arbitrary consequences. The manufacturing of these injectables was piss poor. The quality control was garbage. So there are all kinds of impurities, contaminants, including DNA from SV40, which has potentially cancer-inducing properties. So these shots were an absolute horror show. Design failure after design failure, manufacturing flaw after manufacturing flaw. And the idea that anybody injected healthy people with them is remarkable and needs to be explained.